Lots of people take up walking for lots of different reasons, whether it's love of the countryside that we see around us today, their love of wildlife, nature, to push themselves physically, or to learn new skills such as navigation. What's definitely true though is that having the right gear can make the difference between having a really good day out or a really lousy day out. So today what I want to do is just talk through briefly the sorts of gear that you should be taking with you if you're just starting out. For me, the most important part of my clothing is my boots down here. Now, if you've got a dedicated budget, what I would suggest is spend the lion's share of your money on your boots. They're the most important part of kit that you will take with you. If you get your boots right, you feel like you could walk all year. If you get your boots wrong, you'll soon be hobbling back to the car or the bus or wherever you came from. If we move on to my top half now, I'm using what's known as a layering system. So I start off with my bottom layer or base layer, and this is either a synthetic or wool fibered base layer, which will help wick sweat away from your body, stops your body basically keeping clammy cold sweat next to it. Onto my mid layer, and I've got a fleece layer here, and I'm pretty sure that that's something that most people will have in their wardrobe somewhere. And lastly, onto my outer layer, which I think is probably the second most important piece of kit. It's my waterproof jacket. This blocks the wind, it also keeps the rain at bay, and apparently we get quite a bit of that here in Britain. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the clothing. Now I want to talk about the sort of gear we take with us on a day walk. And the first thing I want to take a look at is the rucksack. Now there are a great many types of rucksacks with lots of different back systems, features and benefits. Keeping it simple for a walk like today, you will need a rucksack of around 20 to 25 litres capacity to carry everything you might need. The next piece of kit I want to talk about is a simple, straightforward first aid kit. For a straightforward walk like today, I have a small one with some blister patches, plasters, bandages for sprains, paracetamol and the like. As you step up and do more complicated routes and more challenging environments, beef up your kit to cope with the problems that you might encounter. The next most important pieces of kit for me are a map and compass. And what's really important is that you have a vague idea how to use these as well. So wherever you've got your route from, whether it's from the videos on walks around Britain, from a walking book, or from the Ramblers Association, it's always important to have these to help guide you. The next most important thing, food. I'm a hungry man and I march on my stomach, and the same's true of anybody when you're out walking. You burn through calories quite quickly, so it's important that you have an adequate food supply, and to that end, water as well. Now lastly for me, just from a safety angle, I always bring a spare thermal layer with me as well, so if I'm stopping off for some lunch or if there's an emergency, I've got something that's going to keep me warm. And as we've mentioned beforehand, we get quite a bit of rain here in Britain, so the last thing that I have, as well as protecting my body with my waterproof jacket, you can either have a rucksack liner that goes inside your rucksack to keep everything dry, or, as I've used, some dry bags to keep each individual item dry. And the final essential part of any walker's kit has to be your gloves and your hat. For me, they're an instant blast of warmth, something I keep in my pockets with me wherever I go, so that as soon as I feel a chill, I can slip them on, and as soon as I get hot, I can slip them on. And there we have it. Basic guide to your walking kit list.